Hello, good evening everybody. It is August the 30th, 2017. It is David and Serge's first video. We've got lots to tell you. We'll go slow. It's got some structure, so we won't be here all night. Let's go. We are not dismissing everybody. We understand that there are some confused people at the moment, so all people want, from what we've seen, is full guidance and structure on how to learn processes from start to finish and have the full knowledge you can stand on when tried and tested. This is where our tailored educational programs will help you achieve your goals as we are kings, as you are king, as king. You can only know you are king and act like you're a king and make commandments like a king and defend any claims brought against you as a king or like a king. It is all an illusion, as the great John Harris said. When you know you have the tools to win, you will soon lose the fear. Or when you see it demonstrated, you will soon understand and lose the fear. Out of fear and into honour, becoming the litigants in person. The next bit. The people out there that ignore the envelopes and the letters and simply do nothing, you do not act at all. They are taking or following what we would see or what we consider as unconscionable advice. And they only seem to think or act or maybe pop into sovereigns or, come and ask for backup when Big Barry's at the door, which is often quite too late and the situation is very serious and severe and it's very hard to deal with it at that point because it's gone past the point of dealing with it. So, proven ignorance of the law excuses nobody. So what we're intending to do is, Serge will explain after I've said these short bits here, through the educational programs, we will teach and show you how negotiable instruments work and provide you with the tools for enforcement and for defence. We know there are people out there that have tried these processes before and failed, generally by following misinformation or an error or omission in the paperwork. That's enough to get it dismissed. So if it's not perfect or you've not followed it from A to Z, then you're gonna have problems. It's gonna fail. Actions and failures. People are attacking and leaving the group, and we see that as people don't fully understand. And when you don't fully understand something, what happens? You are fearful of it. You are skeptical of it. So yes, we've addressed that. We see that, and we can say that the ones that follow the path, the doubters and the naysayers, you will all see soon enough. As time progresses, as we learn and we evolve, then we'll be able to demonstrate that for you, and you will yourself on your own journey. There is a reason only a few people are winning, as they are the few that get it right. Me, Serge, some of the admins, some of the people in the group, our friends, people that we've recently linked up with, we are paying money to learn this. We're not just watching a YouTube video and then making some notes and going out there and trying it.
Yeah,
this is.
Can I just interject?
Yeah, go on. By all means.
100% correct with David. We've been there, so we're at the stage where you guys are, right? We've tried these methods ourselves, but we've done it through misinformation. We followed videos like yourself, or half-cocked knowledge, and we think, well, yeah, it's exciting. We've got a situation there that we desperately need to pay off. So out of desperation, that we attempt these, and then due to our own failures, then really, because it is that really, because when you look at it, we look at the bigger picture, right? It's a failure from the way I see it. If I've attempted something, right, and it's failed, right, and I've pointed the finger out to the person who delivered it, right, and not even thought about, hang on, have I got it right? Is the guy who's teaching it, is he correct? Right? So these are the factors to consider before, making accusations and, and causing a whole big hoo-ha out of, So these are our concerns, and we see these with members who are coming on, and it's just frustrating for us because it's not simple, right? All this, to learn all this, right? I mean, I've studied trusts. I've looked at plenty of other routes beforehand, right? Believe you me. And for all the people who say we're newbies, I've been awake for a few years, mate, right? So, and the only reason why I've been basically, I decided I want to go back into slavery for the last 2.5 years, right? Until a situation that happened with council tax, because I was so disheartened by all these, ill methods that are flying around, and it just, it's disheartening knowing that people are making money and profit in the name of false information. I just feel that it's wrong. How can these people, live with themselves or even have a conscience, knowing that they've got vulnerable people coming to them, right, for help, and they're failing them, and they're charging them money on top of it. So, and then we're getting slandered for that, right? So I ask you guys, think for yourself. It's true, isn't it? Really, it's just madness, utter madness, and that's the reason why I stepped out of it 2.5 years ago. And 2.5 years, where now I came across that situation. I had potential bailiffs. I was out of touch, out of the system, so I didn't know what was going on. And the whole premise of me coming back into it was the fact that I'm thinking, well, things have got to have changed. Free man in the land philosophy should have excelled and got to the point where, they've got remedies. So I'm thinking, well, somebody out there has got to be able to give me a remedy or help me. So I found Dave, found Sovereign Paralegals, and here we are. And to be honest, when I met David, he was about to give up.
Yes.
Right? And this is what happens to every single one. So those.
True.
I mean, what I'm saying, everybody who's listening to this, who are on our path, can relate to what I'm saying to, because we've all been there, and some people have left because they think, well, what's the point? Because all I'm doing is following these processes, and I'm getting into trouble. I'm getting into financial difficulties. These guys are saying it works, but on the flip side, I'm looking at all the beatings that I'm receiving and everything. So when it came to my situation with the enforcement agents, and they've had seven failed attempts so far. All they keep doing is posting notices, right? Because all I'm doing is I'm not challenging it at the minute, right? All I've done is just ring fence and protected my assets. So I know that when I'm ready, I'll deal with the situation, right? And we'll deal with it. And also show you how it's done, right? But it's not that simple. To learn the methods and the remedies, there's a lot of education to be learned, right? And it's not just picking it up. You've got to understand it. You've got to know when questioned, because you got to remember who you're dealing with here. You got some companies, they're not going to take it just by face value just because you handed a negotiable instrument, right? And you followed somebody's process, and you should accept it because it is what it is, right? You're dealing with people who are going to challenge your knowledge, right? So one side, apart from the side that you want to use this technology, the second aspect of it is, could you enforce it? So if you can't, why are you doing it? This is the part that I don't understand with people, right? And we're not saying
desperation. Sometimes it's desperation.
It is, Dave, and this is why we, out of desperation, have got together and thought, well, we're all here to help everybody, right? Because that's what my understanding of why I got involved in free man on the land philosophy in the first place is that it's for the greater good for everybody, right? And this is what we've brainstormed together with the help of, after finding what we believe in, right? And just because we believe in it doesn't dismiss the fact that it's not true, right? You can't see it at the moment, but if you choose to commit to our educational programs, you will see, right? And that knowledge and the truth will spread for itself.
It's not
right?
just that. There's politicians that have used it. There's elite that have used it. We can reference and source you to what's happened historically with people in positions and where they've been and how they've accumulated wealth and how they've protected it as well. It's happened. It's trust is happening every day. A lot of people are confused on these trusts, but you use them every day without even knowing. You are involved in them as well.
Well, there's a lot of misinformation of what trusts are as well. And
there's not just one. There's not just one, is there?
Well, you have legal trusts, right, and you have express trust. Express trust, right? It's in the private basically, right? But in order to understand all that, you've got to know who you are for a start, right? You got to know your history and why you are, because look, we know we got no money, right? And for those who know that, we are the money. Yeah? Your endorsement is the money. You are the promise to pay. Right? That is our remedy. So this is the reason why I ask members now, right? Why would you want to go down the route of doing all this crazy free man on the land stuff, right? Getting the establishments back up. Because all you're doing is cementing your dishonour, because when you look at the bigger picture, in order to fight and defend yourself, you got to look at the situation for what it is, right? So you've got to be armed with the correct education to recognise that in the first place, and then secondly, from there, because through your education, you work out the remedy for yourself, not following somebody, right? You work it out yourself. And you'll be that confident, right? Because confidence is the key here, right? Through your education, if what you've learned, if you're not confident in doing that, then you shouldn't be even attempting it. The whole point of an education is that you get an insight and you learn about what's being taught, and then those who've got a passion for it are the ones who succeed.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the way I've always been throughout my life. I've never been a defeatist. I'm not the cleverest guy, right? I'm not saying that, right? But my determination, right, in any situation helps me succeed and be who I am, right? And then for me, the biggest thing was when I found out what power we truly have and who you truly are, right? That for me was enough confidence, and I can stand under that and not have any doubts at any situation and look at it with full confidence that you're going to win. You have negativity, you've lost already, right? So for those who know about the law of attraction and the power of manifestation, I'll leave it there, right? So it's a combination. You have got to become this person. You've got to become, to challenge and stand and make them know, right, that you're that confident and you know what you're standing under, right? And it's that impression that you create with them. So going back to the point where the situation gets out of hand and he gets to court because you've decided to just, not do all the first steps, but you just jumped into the middle, right? And when shit hits the fan, you can't defend it then. But through our method, from start to finish, you'll become a litigant in person. And that's our aim. Our aim was to help, to be involved in this, not only to learn for ourselves, right? It's for the greater good of everybody. Now, for those who think that we might be financially motivated, that, to me, I'd dismiss you on the fact that if we were, then why would we want to be bringing this out to everybody? I quite happily just live my life and do these flawed methods. I mean, not flawed, sorry, mistake, right? These methods, right, that we are learning, right, we'll do it ourselves. We don't need to tell anybody. If you want to learn, you pay the money. I mean, I've invested a hell of a lot of money into all this. Books, the courses, right? But I'm doing, my intentions are honourable, mine and David's, and the people who are involved with us. It's not just us, right? I don't want to mention any names, but if you're listening to the video, you know who you are, right? And because of, I mean, I've got the utmost respect for this person, right? We've not got his permission to mention his name on video, right? And nor will I. But for those who know us, will know who we're talking about. And I've got the utmost respect for this person because he's made me see, right, the technology for what it is and how powerful it is in the way he's delivered it in the educational programs from start to finish. And it's just brilliant. It's hats off to this guy, right? And I've got the utmost respect, and I feel that everybody else who, you know, who's learning from him has had, you know, have the same feelings, right? So on that basis, we're not in for it for financial level. We're in it to help you, right? We know that once you get this, there's some of you guys out there who are that, you know, intellectually clever, who can take this to the next level. Levels that we never ever been able to achieve. Levels where you could possibly go out and set case precedents. This is a level we need to get to. We need to be litigants in person. We can't remain in dishonour anymore. The remedies are there. We need to learn them, utilise them, and stop being in dishonour. Because the game is all about money, right? Once you know what money is, there's nothing backing money. Like I mentioned earlier, you are the money.
Sweat equity.
Yeah, you are. It's your sweat equity, your labour, your energy that you're going out to on a daily basis. Right, so think about that, right, and think about the ones who think, look, everybody's busy in life, everybody's got families, and you know, you've got commitments and etc. etc. I mean, me and David, he's got a family, he works, I've got a business, I've got children, I'm married. We still take time out because we've got a passion for this, and that's what drives us, because we want to see change. Right.
We've got kids. I've got blood on the you know, that's another thing. The kids, that's my kids. Yeah. What my journey has been like. And if I wasn't here tomorrow, what are my kids left with? That's not good. It's not good to think what this is like. This system out there is like. If I wasn't here, even though I've got issues with the access to the kids, I still one day hope they're going to come knocking, and I'll have my chance to explain, show them what I do, and portray, you know, what I'd like to see out happen out there. Yeah. It's not nice out there.
Because the way I initially started off, and everybody has, and it sort of remained the status quo, is when we all woke up, we sort of had a hatred towards the system.
Anger.
Right? We had anger, you know, everybody went through the emotions and etc.
I will smash them.
Right? But coming across this tech at the minute, what we're learning now, is giving me another viewpoint now, right? Because one of the main reasons why I went to sleep, you know, before, when there was a good friend of mine and we both sort of teamed up together and, you know, we did a fair bit of, you know, messing around and playing games, right? Until we decided, you know, it's not getting us anywhere. And we sort of went back to being good slaves, as I say, right? For 2.5 years, you know, I've run a very successful business, right, do property maintenance, right, and you know, I just thought, what's it about? We're getting hurt, and it's all about money. So that's the reason why we just thought, right, we'll go back into work, be a good slave, and pay them the money. That's what they're after. Just pay them up, and we can live our life. Okay, we don't like working, don't like doing this, but we've got no choice. Then I stepped back into it, and here we are, right? So, and then learning through this technology that I'm learning now has made me realise it's all about the money, and they want payment. and we've got the remedy here. The remedy is a negotiable instrument. When you and this is what I mean by know who you are, stand on who you are, right, and use these remedies, and know how to use them and why you're using them, right. So this is why we're now we've been in talks for the last month to try to tailor structure programs that we can deliver for you, because you're probably all wondering how is it going to happen, right? So at the moment we're going to do a trial period, and the trial period would be basically some informative videos, right, covering trusts and negotiable instruments for now, right? And they would just give you a good insight, right, and a good, like, you know, a snippet of what the course is about and what you will learn, right? And we'll give you some, you know, we're structuring some snippets and some parts that we can structure for you, or, you know, for free. And this is for free, right? So you can see this, and then for those who decide that you want to commit to the educational programs, you got two options. Right, two options, and this will confirm our honourable intentions as well, and this is why we're doing it, to dismiss all you people who are going to probably have a stab at us thinking it's financial, right?
Yeah, they have. It has been said. Yeah, there is doubt. Yeah.
Right. So you can number one option, and I've mentioned this before in a last meet and greet, right? That I gave the information out to the person who, you know, of the person who we're learning all this from, and I gave them the website. So number one option, for those who know, you can go straight to that website and purchase the course yourself, right? Not a problem. And the whole idea that we've been in talks, because members have expressed that there's obviously financial issues, and we can understand that, right? And let's not look at it like, oh, it's quite expensive, and, you know, and they're financially motivated, because, you know, until you know, look at their reasons, it's all justifiable, right? You never judge a book by its cover, right? And I sort of had the same doubts myself up until I actually purchased it, and when I saw it for what it was, I was like, is that is nothing compared to the successes I'm going to get from it that far outweigh the cost of the course, you know, in my opinion.
Utility bills,
right?
All the bills.
So okay, we're going a bit off track here, right? So let's just address the issue about the affordability. This is what we're doing. So you can either, option number one, go direct to the source and purchase it at full price, or, and this is a very, very common gesture, right, that the course tutor is in, you know, has decided with us, right, and he will bring it at a discount, right, because we've expressed this to the course tutor to say, look, there's not everybody can afford it, right, but there's people out there who need to know this. So what can we do? Can we work together and sort something out? But it was his idea, and I just thought, you know, it's very, very honourable. So, cut long story short, the second option is to get it at a heavily discounted price to us, right? And so, at the moment, as far as we're concerned, right, we have done, or we're trying to, right, and eventually we will get there, right, and once we get there, I will find, you know, it'll pleasure me, right, in seeing you guys flourish into the next level. That's all I want. I'm not financially motivated in there, and I'm not going to doubt that. You know, we'll be using some of these contributions for our time, right? Which I think is fair, right? And we're giving you, don't forget, that course at a discounted price. We didn't have to do all of this. Just remember that, right? Yeah. And this is just for the greater good for everybody, and that's all I'd say. So we want to see you flourish. We want to see you succeed. We want to see you take it to the next level, right? And we want to see this coming out on, you know, everywhere, because it's all about, the way I see it now is, we've got a system, right? Some of us agree with it, some of us don't, right? I never agreed with it before, but I agree with it now, to a degree, because I've got unlimited funds. Yeah, for those who understand what I've just said, right? I've got unlimited funds, right? And that's done via my endorsement, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, do you want to cover anything in here? About the course, about videos, or do you want me to skim over it?
No, not really.
Programs.
We'll be putting it. We'll be tailoring the package together with the course tutor, and then we will be delivering it very, very soon as a trial period on Sovereign Paralegals. It'll be there in our group, right? So if you want access to it, you can obviously contact us at Sovereign Paralegals through David here, who's the the site founder. So yeah, it's time to make it happen, and the ball's in your court.
The future is now.
Yeah, we've delivered it, right? Now it's up to you to utilise it.
Yeah. Right. Have you finished?
Yep.
Is that
That's
good?
all I need to say.
We're going to do some questions and answers about negotiable instruments in a minute. So on the back of that, we had some structure. We've kind of stuck to it. We've covered the points we needed to. What can I say to and go on what the back of Serge has said is, yeah, there was in November 2015, me in Sovereign Solicitors as it was, I opened it to understand the legal terminology, jargon, definitions, implied meanings, joined legalese, contract, parking tickets, and obviously the court case and the court writ I had with my children. I needed to understand where to progress with that. When I went to see them, Polish man answers the door, they're no longer there. Ring up the DWP, CSA, that's my dyslexia, and ask them where my children are. They won't tell me, so I broke the contract. I'm not paying them money if I can't see my children. I'm not liable for that. So that's where we started. Where we're at now is just a natural progression with the direction of the group, the admins, and what the members have come in and what you've generally asked for over the last what we're in November or August, September, so 19, 20 months, 21 months been open, and in 21 months we've gone from just one soul, me being me, and a direction of which I've just explained, to the trust and equity exposure where we're at now. So I have looked in almost every main established, active, functioning Facebook group. I've looked at thousands of videos. I've put 2,500 videos on my own Indigo Child website across 30 odd playlists. I've watched over 50,000 hours of just online media. I've looked at all the websites. I've looked at all the big speakers. There is credit due to people like Santos Bonacci, Winston Shrout, Carl Lentz, the people that have, when we meet people that seem to know like what we know, as this 21 months has progressed, the same common denominators come into play. They listen to the same people that we get on with and we see eye to eye with, that can see the big picture for what it is. Eventually, this system of money and perpetual debt is going to crash. The government have got a plan for that. We haven't. We're just going to follow blindly into it. Now, if you come to understand the mechanics of money and the law system and the aspects of law and how many types of trust there are and what you can apply it to and how to have your status and how and all this, that's what Serge is saying. It's not just, oh, I can pick up a few videos and some CDs or, you know, PDFs on some bills and instruments and then go and do them yourself. Because, example, in a court, a judge has said to somebody, we got told this somewhere in the grapevine that in the past, that the judge said equity doesn't exist. It was what got rid of in the 1800s.
Yeah.
So what happened in that court? How did he deal with the judge?
Well, in that situation, this guy obviously got stumped, right? So, and when your silence, that's it, is the defeat. You stay silent, and it's all over. It's fallen on the record and they move on. So your silence is the agreement, and this is how quick they just twist it. These are what's known as the assumptions and presumptions, right? And this is how they trick you, because if you didn't, and this is where you thank your, you thank your education and how it's going to get drummed in. And the other point, that good point, we're not just going to tailor structure these educational programs. In each stage, we're going to test your knowledge, right? And we thought about this, and some people might think, oh yeah, it seems like it's schooled all over again. But yeah, this school is beneficial for you. It's actually going to teach you something. It's going to teach you how to live in the system, right?
There you go.
Right, you're going to have another option before you hand over your hard-earned money, right? So you pick and choose who that wants, who you want to go to. And the other thing that we must, reiterate is that, in no way that you should use this not abusively, and just use it in honour, right? And use your discretion at the end of the day. But
it will be protected, yeah. That's what we've got to do. It won't be just open source like Sovereigns is. When we have people enrol on a course, there will be non-disclosures and encrypted material. It will be passed in a safe and maybe not licensed, but managed way, and it will all be recorded, tracked and traced. So it's a serious deal, which is why, again, it's done in the private, public and private, understanding them. That's massive in itself, and also there is a lot to do, but we can structure and direct, get the direction that we can see is wanted, is needed, and then like the testing system as well.
Yeah, the testing system. Sorry, I just had a bit of a mind fog then. Yeah. So the whole point is to get you to a level so that you don't fail. That when you have these questions, or they're doing these assumptions and presumptions, and through your cemented history of what you'll be able to counteract it and just dump them, right? And even be able to then reference from some books of authority and etc. But you have to put all this into practice. This is not just that simple. There's a lot of elements involved in this, right? And that's what that's what I've realised, that whereas before, me and David both, we thought we're probably on that level where, there's not anything possibly more that we could probably learn, right? We've seen it all. But, this is just something totally different. It's not different, it's a difference in how it's been delivered, right? And I can see the true power. It's given me new motivation. It's like I've rewoken again, and it is. I've been rewoken again. I feel like the very first day when I woke up into this whole philosophy, it's happened to me again, right? Hence my profile picture, born again, right? So there's not a lot more that we can possibly say to you. Right, but proof's in the pudding, and it's time to take up our offer, right, that we've done at an affordable cost, right, which all will be revealed. But go through the trial period, see what you think, and then we can take it from there.
So you'd have to book that through Sovereign Paralegals. We'll give you a reference. Each person will have a different reference. So we're gonna, we've done things like this before. As I said, some of us are old school Quaver ravers, and we know the systems of which to employ to try and lock it down and keep it secure and looked after. So if this gets into the wrong hands, again, as we mentioned earlier, and you only get half of it and you try to use it, you will fall foul and you will have errors and omissions. You won't be able to stand on it. You won't be able to have the enforcement side of it. So if a judge tells you that equity has been disbanded, dissolved, whatever, and it doesn't exist anymore, and you can point out about where the Chancery courts existed and what happened with the Chancery and the certain things you could mention about equity, couldn't you, to put the judge in his place? What would you say to him?
Equity
CPR
for what
merger.
I can understand. Equity for what I can understand, right? Whereas in the 1800s, before the Judicature Acts came out, equity had it's a distinct body of law, and he had its own courts. So it had its own authority, right? Just like common law and common law courts, right? But the only difference today is that they, at that point, for us, well, at that point for me, right, the way I can see it is that it was a sort of a threat, right, to the system. And yeah. So what they did, they took the authoritative side out of it, took the courts out the side out of it, and kept the administrative process out of it, and then merged it into the CPR rules, which is there today, right? So,
Bumshanker.
yeah,
Well answered.
it's covered in there. It's mixed in there. Only if you got the eyes and ears to see, and you can only have that knowing the educational programs. So it all comes back to you've got to go right back to the beginning, in my opinion. Take off the hat that you've learned, all this misinformation, and put it to one side, right? Leave the questions right till last until you able to answer. I mean, able to ask questions, right? Intelligent questions based on what you've learned, not just like thinking, trying to bring in the Freeman philosophy and trying to tie it into this or trying to make sense of it.
Well, listen.
Right? It doesn't work like that.
Let me see.
You've got to take one hat off and put another one on.
Yeah.
Right? Just like David mentioned with words of gummage. That was a brilliant example.
Yeah.
That was
Common law equity.
yeah.
If you're old enough to remember.
That's it. Words of gummage.
Oh,
But that's what you need to do. You know, you're here to learn, right? So all I'd say is I'd make that request kindly. Is when you're doing, if you're attending any of our meet and greets, right, or even on the educational programs, right, just to make our life a bit easier, and obviously the teacher who's going to bring all this, because you can easily get inundated with questions that easily answerable, right, if the answers are in the education that you're learning. So just be patient and get through it, and all your answers will be answered, right? I mean, questions will be answered, right, through the program. But just, just go through it from start to finish. Give it a go. You got nothing to lose, everything to gain.
Especially if it's free, yeah, which is amazing. Well, we've had to, how it's come about. So, yeah, I've got the common law and the at law side. You all know, obviously, the progression. Some of the members, there's a good 500 that were there, within the first year. Will remember the pin post and what we came in with, and how the admins and I was articulating how we shared the statute mandated, laws and the consent that is required for that. And then we would argue about the consent and how to stay in honour, put the account into dispute, start sending the letters off, conditionally accept it. This we can, because I'm also learning like you are, and I've changed the direction of the group that I created with the understanding and the belief and the confidence after researching it. We don't just do things willy-nilly. It wasn't, I watched a YouTube video and then we thought we'd make a trust. There's a lot. We'll show you the books. Before we turn this off, I want you to see just a quick shot of the thicknesses of the books. Yeah, so you need to stand back a bit and appreciate the massive amount of work and the context and the volume. And I'm dyslexic. Serge has issues with, grammar and language, like, we all do. No one's perfect, but for us, it's disgusting. Our system is simple. So this is for the people that are actually in Sovereigns now, that was in there at the beginning and that may be confused and that are thinking we're going to trick you, like David McRae said. I'm not trying to cause trouble. He made a statement when I said, I've been on holiday, I've come back, I want to update you about the trust, the equity, what we're doing, and, the common law, the conditional acceptance, all that is valid. Magna Carta stuff is still there. It's all to be discussed and it's at your choice. We're not telling you to do anything. We're not licensed. We're not part of anything. We're not endorsing anything. We may make a partnership with our new friend and bring something to you, a non-for-profit, and involve trustees or make things public. I don't know what's happening. I have no idea. We're going with the flow. The intent is honourable. The intent is just. The intent is, we are vigilant in our actions. we often find that when we read the maxims of equity, we already conforming and doing most of that without knowing it anyway, because the common law side of it isn't the equitable side of it. There's an at law side and there's there's an equitable side, but there is also the common law. And you look what common law is. Common law is whatever's happening at the time, what's frequently been going off, how we all en masse act, what they'll look at, all the judgments that have passed in a certain amount of time frame, what is the general consensus. So it does evolve and it does change, and society evolves and change, language evolves and change. We can't just sit and say that's it for now. You know, the acts and the bills that change, the revisions, the implementation. So my brain is loving it at the minute, because I did think I'd learned the criminal law, the contract law, the employment law, all the different laws that there is, the canon law, the everything. And it's like, you do think that there can't be any more, and that's why I was about to give up, because I wasn't seeing successful, short, concise remedies. I was listening to Bill Turner, and I was listening to certain speakers, as I've mentioned earlier, and they were all Australian, American, Canadian. There wasn't many British remedies. That I was having trouble translating the penal codes over to the statute code, and the Bill of Rights over in America is different to our Bill of Rights, but yet they're all based on our Constitution. Then you've got issues with the Lisbon Treaty and the Constitution, where it's just a mess. So what we can say is that it's not empowering and using the system and feeding the system and being part of the system and going into a statutory trust. Is that right? A legal statutory trust. These are different.
These are the kind of differences you'll find out, but you've got to make that commitment to learning this. Yeah. It's not just easily explainable in a half an hour video, right? No. There's more elements to this, and when you go through the program and you see the elements, and you'll see for what it is. But all we're doing, we're not dismissing that, the common law side of things, because the contracts and everything, they're all valid, and it's all that side does work as well, right? But what we've got to what we've realised through equity and trust, and the way that the course that we're sitting, what we're learning, the way it's delivered. Well, not only have we learnt about equity and trust, right? There's the unique thing that I've never known anybody, right, is showing you the full, from A to Z, how to conduct yourself in court and convene, like from start to finish, how the CPR work, how the CPR rules work, what forms to fill out, what is a counter defence, why would you use it, etc., etc. You got the tools to become a litigant in person, right? You've got the tools, right, to get a judge, right, to give you the credibility that you demand as the man, right? Not because, here's my birth certificate, right? Yeah. You need the judge, so let's just get out of all this stupidity.
Fighting in the court,
right?
I've said that.
Stupidity, in my opinion, really. Because when you know that you're the remedy, and your remedy, you can, endorse and discharge any debt, because that is your obligation in this system, which you will learn why, right? So let me just leave it there, right? Then I asked, why do you want to go through all these stupid remedies, right? And causing yourself controversy and possibly just getting yourself arrested and get thrown into prison, or even worse, they'll dig up some history if they really want to go for you, yeah? And they'll put you under the Mental Health Act. Is that where you really want to end up? Or would you rather go in there and swallow your ego, right? Of
Which
about
of
all the hurt and stuff, that all the emotions and, I hate the system and I hate this, yeah? Right? Put that aside, because it's about winning.
Control.
Right? It's about your remedy, and you're not going to achieve it by doing that. You'll achieve it by doing this way, right? So the time is not to be scared of court, right? We're bringing you the tools, right? So you can lose the fear of the unknown, right? But that's all it is. Once you get confident in something, then you lose the fear, right? And by doing this, we will send out ripples and messages in the system, because when they fail, and when their lawyers and solicitors and whoever are failing, they can't get paid. Yeah. What's a better system, I ask you? You make the decision here, right? You want one that's going to cause you problems, right? Or the second one where you're going to win, yeah? I'd have the second one any day of the week, because that's what we're all here to do, right? You've not got the time, right? And that the first option is the most time consuming for me, I think, right? Whereas most of the things, if you challenge them right from the beginning, because why would you want it? Why would you want it to get to that level, that stage where shit hits the fan and it's too late? It's not. It doesn't work like that.
Enforcement stage.
Right.
Help.
You need to chop. You need to nip it at the bud right from the beginning. Right. When the problem happens, address it right there, and because you'll be armed in the correct knowledge. You should make it disappear right there and then.
Clean hands. It's called
Right.
clean hands.
Because when you make them aware of what you know and what you can stand under, and you're telling them that through your notices and your whole process, and you've also covered the main base, right? The main base of the money, the debt, right? You owe the money. And once you use this tech, right, and you've sort of cemented that, then I'll leave I'll leave it to your thinking. What do you